Kung Fu. It means supreme skill from hard work. A great poet has reached Kung Fu. The painter, the calligrapher, they can be said to have Kung Fu. Even the cook, the one who sweeps steps, or a masterful servant, can have Kung Fu. Practice, preparation, endless repetition, until your mind is weary and your bones ache, until you're too tired to sweat, too wasted to breathe. That is the way. The only way one acquires Kung Fu.
Alright y'all, time to get serious. So for this, all you need is your gun. No magazines, no holster, no kit, no body armor, nothing fancy. So there is literally no prep. You need a cell phone with a free shot timer. You can get it off any app store, the Play Store. There's tons of them. We're going to do 3 minutes, and you should be doing about 3 sets of these, honestly, about every night or every other night if you're trying to build a skill. You know, obviously check your gun, make sure it's good to go. This is a par of 1 second, which honestly feels ridiculously slow. So I'm going to do a few trial shots, and I typically never start on 1 second because it's just way too slow for me from this position, because you're eliminating a lot of movements in the normal positioning from drawing to a first shot. And you're basically just presenting the gun from compressed ready, aligning the sights, getting on target. I'm shooting a target about 5 to 6 yards away, I would say, but it's a tiny yellow sticker, very hard to see, and it's a very small target. It is definitely, it's like a paster, so it's like about quarter sized. And if y'all don't understand how par time works or what par is, it is essentially a time limit that you are setting for yourself. So a par of 1 second would be a time limit of 1 second. And here I'm doing a par of 0.5 seconds, which is typically what I start my warm-up on. So as you can see, I felt 1 second was just way too slow. It was actually causing me to be slower because you know, I didn't have that pressure to reach the time limit. So I cut it in half, and now this is a par time of 0.5, which is pretty quick. But from compressed ready, you're eliminating a lot of the other movements that you would need from the draw, because you have the first motion, which would be reaching for the gun. The second one would be, you know, drawing it out and bringing it up to your center area. And then the other would be marrying the grip and then presenting it out. So you eliminated a lot of those movements. So you're at the very final movement, essentially. But what happens is a lot of people get hung up on this part of reaching the sights with their eyes, being able to make that mental decision, I'm going to break the shot, and then having to prep the trigger. You're already behind the 8 ball at that point, and typically you already have the gun out for sometimes up to a second before you break that shot. And in reality, you know, you could be blasted within a second very easily. You know, an avid shooter can shoot 4 or 5 times accurately at an A zone, you know, pretty easily. So if you go up against anyone that has any kind of skill, you're going to be very, very, you know, you're relying on luck and, you know, higher power at that point. So that's the whole point of these drills, is to prepare you so that way you have skills to survive those type of situations, God forbid. So in this, I'm doing 0.5 pars, but honestly that still is a little too slow, and I eventually am going to crank it to about 0.3. Actually, this is a 0.3 par right here. and you can see I'm hitting 0.23 on the shot. So essentially, from me having a married grip on the gun and me presenting it, I'm able to take the shot in about 0.23, between 0.2 and 0.3 is what I'm hitting. So my goal is to hit a 1 second draw. So I'm focusing on this particular part because the last range session,
What was the time?
when I was shooting, the first warm-up drill, which was in the previous video, in that I could tell there was a definite pause between me aligning the sights, making contact with that sight with my eyeballs, and making that mental decision. It definitely was costing me a lot of time because my draw was pretty fast. It was pretty good. Not the most efficient. There was some things that I could have changed, most definitely, and I've tried to incorporate that in my latest training, especially once the gun is almost fully extended. I got the techniques a lot. I learned a lot from Modern Samurai Project. They have some really good stuff. Scott Jedlinski, I think is his name. He has this 80-20 concept where essentially at the last point where you're pushing out, you coast instead of like applying pressure outward. You coast through the final motion and you modulate the sights, and you kind of roll your gun down. And what that does is it allows the dot to fall in place every single time, and you get a much more reliable sight picture. And that can definitely drastically improve your time because you can stage the shot as you present the gun. So as you can see, I finished 3 minutes pretty easily, and you should be doing much more than that, to be honest, if you're really trying to build a skill, because that's what this is. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.